The train screeched as it slowed into the snowbound Montana Station, its whistle echoing through the frozen valley like a lonely cry of something wild and wounded. From the second-class carriage, a pale young woman clutched a worn carpetbag and stared out the fogged window, her breath making soft clouds on the glass. Her name was Clara Mae Dunn, 23, born and forgotten in a Missouri orphanage, and she'd never been farther west than the county fairgrounds. But now she was hundreds of miles from everything she knew, with only a letter in her pocket that promised a husband she'd never met and a place she could finally call home. Her heart trembled as much as her hands. The last thing she saw before the train stopped was a tall man in a duster coat standing alone on the platform, his head shadowing eyes she couldn't yet see, but somehow, even through the glass, she could feel their kindness. The wind cut cold through the cracks of the coach as passengers disembarked, laughing, calling, reuniting, but Clara couldn't move. Her boots felt nailed to the floor. Every horror story she'd ever heard about mail-order brides ran through her mind, men who drank too much, men who beat, men who bought women like they bought cattle. She pressed her lips together, staring down at her gloved fingers, willing herself to be brave. Then, through the window, she saw him move. The cowboy stepped closer to the train, boots crunching on the icy wood planks, and raised his face. Luke Callahan, 35, rancher, war veteran, and a man who had buried both his parents and his faith in the same winter. He'd sent for a bride not because he was lonely, but because he was tired of ghosts. His ranch in the foothills of the Bitterroot Mountains was too quiet, too empty, and though he told himself he didn't need love, he couldn't bear another season eating supper alone. When he saw Clara's small, frightened face framed in the carriage window, something stirred in him. Something tender he thought he'd lost long ago. He took off his hat and stood still, waiting, as the conductor called out the last stop. People rushed past him, but Luke didn't move. He just stood there, watching her, knowing somehow that she needed time. Inside the train, Clara's pulse thundered in her ears. She saw the man waiting, tall, broad-shouldered, steady, and part of her wanted to run back east. But there was nowhere to run. She whispered a prayer no one heard, clutching the locket around her neck, the only thing she'd ever owned. Slowly, she stood, her knees shaking. The other passengers had gone, leaving behind the smell of coal and cold iron. The porter opened the door and looked at her kindly. "You got someone waitin', miss." She nodded faintly, eyes down. "Then go on," he said. But she couldn't. Her fingers locked on the handle, and she froze again. That's when she saw it, his hand. Luke had stepped closer to the train. He didn't speak, didn't reach up to pull her. He just held out his hand, "Steh."